Hello, in this video I'm going to be covering passing chords. So what are passing chords? Passing chord is simply a chord that leads you from one chord, which is called your source chord, to another chord, which is called your target chord. So for instance, if I'm going from, let's say, C major chord to, let's say, G major chord, and I play a chord in between this chord transition, that chord in between the chord transition that leads me from this C major to G major is called a passing chord. So for instance, if I want to go from C to G and I let's say play, let's say F sharp diminished chord, which is this, before going to G, F sharp diminished chord becomes my passing chord. So this is what I mean. Instead of just going from C to G, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start from C and quickly play F sharp diminished before getting to this chord. So this chord that leads me, that bridges these two chords, that is F sharp diminished chord that bridges these two chords, is called a passing chord. So that's simply what a passing chord is. I just use this example. There are many other ways the passing chord can be oriented. Okay, so just get the concept. So now, why is it possible for a passing chord to lead you from one chord to another chord? It's because of a very, very important characteristic that passing chords have, which is instability. So all passing chords are unstable, and they are what we call, they can also be called resolving chords. That is, they can't stand alone. So unlike your major chords, for instance your C major chord, you can see it can stand alone, or let's say your minor chord, all this chord can stand alone. Okay, but when we get to high tension chords, for instance your diminished chord, create a lot of tension and they can't stand alone. So most times they often seek to resolve to another chord. Another example of a passing chord is, let's say for instance your dominant seventh chord. This will also create a lot of tension. Another example is your augmented chord. Let's see how it sounds. So you can see, you can compare the sound to just your major chord that is cool, or your minor chord, but diminished chord, they create a lot of tension. Okay, they create a lot of tension and they can't stand alone, so they seek for resolution to another chord. Okay, so let me demonstrate this in a song so that you're going to understand the concept of passing chord. So the progression of the song is simply from our chord 1 in key C, which is C major chord, to our chord 4, which is F major chord, to our chord 5, which is G major chord. So the song goes like this. From our chord 1, whatsoever you do to the least of my brother, that you do unto me. So you can see this is a very, very simple chord progression that goes from your chord 1 to your chord 4 to your chord 5. So now let's use passing chord to beautify this progression, to make it sound much more appealing to our audience. Okay, so how can we go about this? So for the first part of the song, let's use our dominant seventh chord as a passing chord. That is when we are going from our chord 1 of C major scale, which is C major chord, to our chord 4 of C major scale, which is F major chord. What we're going to do, we're going to play a dominant seventh passing chord in between these two chords, and you'll see how it's going to really beautify the flow of the song. Okay, so the dominant seventh chord we're going to play is C dominant seventh chord, which is this. That is C, E, G, and B flat. And this B flat here is actually acting as the flatted seventh of the scale, of C major scale. Okay, but don't worry much about that. Just know the notes of the chord. I'll still release videos on how to build your dominant seventh chord. Okay, so we're going to play C dominant seventh chord to lead us to our fourth chord. Okay, so this is how it's going to sound, for instance. So let's do it without adding it and demonstrate it with adding it, so that you're going to see the difference. So it goes like this. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brother, that you do unto me. Okay, so let's add the dominant seventh chord and you're going to understand the concept. So let's add it and see. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brother, that you do unto me. So you can see what I did when going from my C major chord major chord, I play a dominant 7th chord in between my transition from my C major chord to my F major chord, which is the chord 1 to chord 4. Okay, so instead of just going from this to this, I played this, then play a dominant 7th chord, which leads me to my chord 4. Okay, so it's kind of, the dominant 7th chord is kind of like filling the space, the gap between my C major chord and F major chord. Okay, so that's just all about dominant 7th chord. So now let's add a diminished chord to this progression, and let's see how it goes. So the next part, after landing on our 4th chord, so let's play a diminished passing chord to get to our 5th chord. So you notice the next chord we have to play in the progression, so let's play our diminished chord. So the diminished chord we're going to be playing is F sharp diminished chord, which is this. So we're going to play F sharp diminished chord to lead us to G major chord. Okay, so instead of just going from F major chord to G major chord, what we're going to do, we're going to go from F major chord, then quickly play F sharp diminished chord before landing on our G major chord. Okay, so let's now combine this from the beginning, and you're going to see how it flows. So starting all over again, it's going to be like this. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brother, that's, so you can see, instead of just to the least of my brother, that's, I added to the least of my brother, I added F sharp diminished chord, which is very unstable, so it leads me to my G major chord. That you do unto me, and I ended the song again, my chord 1. So let's apply the sus4 chord, which is the sustained 4th. So recall that if this is a triad chord and you want to build the sus4 chord, all you need to do is just to shift this middle note by a half step towards the right. That is, just add 1 note, and this becomes your sus4 chord. Okay, so we are going to play a sus4 chord, that's C major suspended 4th, which is actually holding the 4th note of the scale in the real sense. So we are going to play C sus4 chord quickly before landing or resolving to our chord 1. So when ending the song, we won't just end on our chord 1, we're going to play our suspended 4th before actually ending on our chord 1. Okay, so let's start all over from the beginning, and you see how it flows. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brother, that you do unto me. So you can see what I did. I added the sus4 chord before landing on my major chord. So I hope you get the concept. All we just did, we identify a very simple progression and kind of hard passing chord in between each chord. That is a bridge that will link the. So we added passing chord to link each of these chords in the progression. Okay, to make it sound more appealing. Okay, so I hope you get the concept. If you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you'll be updated whenever I release new videos.